FBI and Rick and Morty.
Fine, I'll call that one legit.
And that same $12.99 gets you Reality Gold from Slice, Food Network, and HGTV. That is Stack TV.
Who's ready to watch?
For most of us, crime is something we see on the news. We never think it could happen to us until it does. Loved ones are gone, and for the survivors, the scars will never heal. I'm Nancy Hixt, a senior crime reporter for Global News. And on this season of Crime Beat, I'll take you inside some of the most serious crime stories I've covered. Season 6 of Crime Beat is available now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and all podcast platforms.
The newscast, it's more than just the news of the day. Covering and uncovering stories that matter. The Canadian Screen Award-winning Global National with Donna Friesen. Weeknights on Global.
It's Friday, May 17th. Here's your Global News Entertainment Wrap.
When does an empire die? Does it collapse in one terrible moment? No.
One of the year's most highly anticipated films made its debut at Cannes Thursday night
Rocket.
with some mixed reviews. Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis was met with a 7-minute standing ovation at the film festival. However, critics seem to be split on the project. Currently sitting at 47% on Rotten Tomatoes, some are hailing the film as moving and epic, while others have called it a mess. The visionary director of classics such as The Godfather
Needs to be up higher.
The note is dated from May 7th, 1992,
Now we got this
almost
going on.
exactly 42 years prior to the day they found it. Hull says it likely floated down the river during a flood.
It said to the finder, let me out or let me free. And it had people's names, Mike and Charlene. And then there was like Paul, Linda, Ringo, so Beatle people.
The back of the note has a logo from
Out.
Our Gift World, a
Out.
gift shop with New Brunswick locations that existed at the time.
Good
making it celebrity from the area.
girl.
Hull and Martin posted a photo of the note online, hoping to find the senders. It's been shared hundreds of times when people invested in the mystery, tagging various Mikes and Charlene's from the area in the comments.
It'd be neat if you could get
Out.
some information from people that
Out.
live it, just get a little bit of history of the area, and it being such a small area and close knit. It'd be cool just to get a little bit of finality to the end of the story and talk to the people that were in there and hear their story.
Hull jokes that it could be connected to another maritime mystery.
Maybe this is the final piece to hold Island.
Suzanne Huffines, Global News, Irishtown, New Brunswick.
You're watching Global News, and coming up, we'll have more of your top stories. Stay with us.
Oh, what happened?
This is Global News.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for watching Global News on this Friday, May the 17th. I'm Candace Daniel, and here are the top stories we're following. A dire outlook from Canada's Environment Minister concerning wildfires in the coming
Go,
weeks.
go.
Residents continue to evacuate from Alberta and BC.
Out.
We'll have the latest.
Sit.
And deadly winds in Texas with the storm blowing out skyscraper windows in Houston. Plus, Loblaw signs on to Canada's grocery code of conduct. We'll have a look at what impact it will have on consumer costs with food professor Sylvain Chaglois. People in Alberta are on edge despite some relief from the cooler temperatures and rain over the past 24 hours. Thousands of evacuees are still under instructions to stay far from home for some time more as firefighters continue to closely watch a wildfire that's burning just a few kilometers away. Jasmine
Yay!
Smith is for us today. Hi, Jasmine. I can't tell you how happy all of us here in the newsroom are, and I'm sure right across Canada is to see you with an umbrella there. Can you, and that the rain is actually there and bringing some relief. Can you give us a sense of what the current conditions are where you are?
Well, just a few seconds, Candace. It is raining here currently, and it is expected to rain for quite a few hours today, and it has been raining here all night. It started early this evening, and we saw a lot of that rain as we were in the city, and that's continuing on now. And there isn't much smoke in the skies here, but there is some gray clouds, so that can be a good sight for many people. And we're not exactly sure how this is aiding the firefight just yet, but the rain we saw on Wednesday decreased the fire size by 2,000 hectares, bringing it to 19,000 hectares. But what we do know is that the fire is 5 kilometers from the Port McMurray landfill, and firefighters were working on containment plans yesterday.
And tell us a bit more about that, because on Thursday you were able to get an up-close look at the efforts to stop this wildfire. What's the focus on now, and how hard are these folks working?
Yeah, that's right. We stopped by some of the airfields and warehouses where we saw firefighters coming off the helicopters and some of the work that they're doing kind of behind the scenes, as well as Alberta Wildfire, looking at that incident command post and seeing what they are dispatching resources out. And we also visited some of the communities that were evacuated, and they showed us the sprinklers and fire retardants set up around these homes just in case of anything changes and the threat does increase in the city. And they're just making sure that they are prepared, especially compared to what they saw 8 years ago, and they'd like to be ahead of the curve.
No doubt. Is there any word at this point on when the soonest people might be able to come home?
Well, the rain is a hopeful sight for sure, and it had, again, we've seen it yesterday, we're seeing it today, but for now they may still have to wait a couple days before they return. Yesterday on that guided tour, Fire Chief Jody Buck told us that they don't want to send people home too early. They don't want to jump the gun just in case anything does change with this wildfire. So what we know is that return date is Tuesday, but currently 6,600 people have been forced from their homes, and residents still here told us they are prepped and ready to go if need be, but they're hopeful that this rain sticks around a while longer and aids that firefight. Candace?
Okay, because we know anything can change very quickly when we're dealing with wildfires. Jasmine, thank you so much, and please do stay safe. That is Jasmine King reporting from Fort McMurray, Alberta. At least 4 people are dead after severe storms moved through Houston, Texas on Thursday.
Sit. Come on. Go,
Storms
go.
brought hurricane force winds and torrential rain that tore a damaging and deadly path through Houston. The violent storm blew out skyscrapers
Good
in
girl.
the city and ripped the roofs off of several buildings. Power outages have left nearly 1 million homes and businesses in the dark across the
What a
US.
good girl.
This weekend, U.S. President Joe Biden faces another major political test when he delivers the commencement speech at Morehouse
girl.
in Atlanta, Georgia. His address comes on the heels of nationwide protests against the conflict in Gaza. And now students are showing up in droves to voice their discontent with the administration's response. Bree Jackson spoke with young voters and how it could impact turnout this November.
From clashes on college campuses to students walking out on commencement speakers, we've seen young people voice their frustrations nationwide. Less than a mile from the White House, George Washington University became a focal point for those speaking out against the war in Gaza.
I don't believe I'm interested in being complicit in genocide anymore.
Others say protests, even peaceful ones,
Oh, he's a good girl.
I don't believe that's
I am a good
productivity,
girl.
in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
I think there are
So
better
good.
ways to go about change.
Across the country, college-age voters are demanding change. Much of the focus is on foreign policy and their displeasure with President Biden's support for Israel. That's a sentiment we also heard at Morgan State University, a historically black college in Baltimore, Maryland.
You're actively funding something
Sit.
that's continually.
What a good dog.
Me personally, I just can't get behind it.
Safety is also top of mind. ranging from fears about gun violence
I've been doing school shooter drills since the 2nd grade.
to political threats.
I don't think Trump is safe for democracy.
Election interest typically lags among younger voters. A recent NBC News poll found that this year, interest has plummeted to a historic low level, with just
Kiss is nice.
10% of people 18
Kiss is nice.
or rating themselves
No
as highly
biting.
interested in
No
the presidential
biting.
election. That's down
No
from
biting.
56%
Ow.
in 2020. Students at George Mason University and Virginia have mixed feelings about voter enthusiasm.
If things are the way they are currently, with the current administration, I wouldn't be shocked if a lot of students just don't care or don't vote. I think as the election gets closer, students will be more engaged to get their voices heard.
Younger people believe they have the collective power to make a difference in the November election.
At the end of the day, we just need to understand who we're putting in office and what policies we're voting into.
Young voters are what we need right now to see the change in the country that we want.
Many eager
Out.
to turn conversations and protests
Go,
about
go.
policy into action. In Washington, Bree Jackson, NBC News.
NATO stands ready for any challenge. That was the message from senior leaders of the alliance on Thursday. They promised swift aid to Ukraine and eventually for it to become a member.
Down.
Nathaniel Dove has more on the efforts to help.
Girl.
Ukraine has taken back half of the territory Russia seized since the war began, NATO's top soldier says, and he again
Sit.
promised Kyiv will be
Good girl. This
Every
is
day,
good
we're
girl.
growing closer
Come
and
here.
more interconnected.
Rocket, come.
Until one day, the Ukrainian flag will be hoisted in front of this headquarters.
You.
Ukraine claims this footage shows soldiers defending against Russian forces in the Kharkiv region. Kremlin fighters have made small inroads in recent weeks. Speaking after a meeting
No,
of NATO's
please
military
don't.
committee, the U.S. Supreme
Sit.
Allied Commander in Europe says Ukraine will repel them.
I've been very close
Belly
contact with our
tickles.
Ukrainian colleagues, and I'm
tickles.
confident that they will hold the line.
And they say allies are doing everything they can to help, even if that means one country provides the ammo and another the weapons. They told reporters Kyiv's ability to innovate is unmatched, but warned the Kremlin has learned from some of its mistakes. The commanders say Russia does not have the numbers for a breakthrough. They also say Ukraine is not at the point where it needs to negotiate.
Hey.
Thursday was the 813th day of the
Good
war.
girl.
It was clear they believe
Good
it will
girl.
continue.
This is good girl.
Dove,
Always good girl. Always good
Russian
girl.
President Vladimir Putin has wrapped up his trip to China with a stop in Harbin, but not before a rare show of affection between he and China's Xi Jinping. Though China's political culture is not known for displays of warmth, the two leaders
Okay, so
exchanged
this
an
one's
embrace
garbage.
after a day of announcements, ushering in what they are calling a new era of partnership between their countries. While the trip was short on concrete proposals, it comes as tensions continue to rise between the two respective countries and the West. Before departing, Putin attended an expo and met technology students in Harbin, a province in China's north that is home to many Russian expatriates with historical and cultural ties to Russia. Foreign Affairs Minister
This is
Mélanie
nice.
Joly has announced Canada is imposing sanctions against 4 Israeli individuals accused of violence against
Sit.
Palestinians in the West
Good
Bank.
girl.
In a statement released on Thursday, Global Affairs says the 4 people named have engaged
Goofy.
directly or indirectly in
Goofy.
violence and violent acts against Palestinian civilians and their property. These sanctions bar them from entering Canada and prohibit
Yeah,
any
you
dealings
got
with them.
Yeah,
Department
you
has
got
described before as
Yeah,
both
you got
extremist
Hang
Israeli
on.
settlers. The federal conservative leader is calling for a summer break from fuel taxes. Pierre Poilievre spoke in Vancouver on Thursday, and he says he wants the government to suspend all gas and diesel taxes from Victoria Day to Labor Day. The conservatives say this could lower gas prices by an average of 35.6 cents per liter. Poilievre believes these savings would allow families to get on the road and go on vacation.
It's a common sense that the government can do, and if you wonder how we can pay for it, this prime minister is spending $21 billion
Good
on
girl.
consultants.
Okay.
$21 billion.
Come on.
Money
Come on.
that could be in the pockets of
Come on, Goofy.
Poilievre also took aim at the Liberals
Come on.
over the price of
Good girl.
inflation and higher food prices.
Kennel.
A South American
Kennel.
country has been declared the host
No,
of the
gotta go
2027
in.
Women's World
Kennel.
Cup.
And the winner
Good girl. Ready? Kennel. Come.
Brazil beat the joint bid of Belgium, the Netherlands, and Germany to become the first South American country to host that tournament. The bid received the backing of 119 member associations of the FIFA Congress to host the 10th edition of the competition, compared to 78 votes for the European bid. The race was whittled down to 2 last month after the United States and Mexico withdrew their joint bid to pursue the 2031 tournament instead. Some incredible videos down under. Aussie researchers have captured some extremely rare footage of a deep sea squid. The Dana octopus squid is on camera as it lives kilometers below the surface. Researchers discovered it after retrieving the camera from waters near the Samoan Passage. They believe the squid thought the camera was prey, causing it to produce flashes and startle and disorient. The squid grapples with the camera for a few seconds before swimming away. The Toronto Zoo has welcomed 2 new arrivals. Gita, the snow leopard, has given birth to 2 cubs. One arrived Monday evening, the other early Tuesday morning. That follows a 97-day pregnancy of the 3-year-old mother. Mom and cubs are being closely watched by a closed-circuit TV, but so far all 3 are doing well. Snow leopards, also known as the ghost cat, are listed as vulnerable species. A father and son from Kelowna are the only Canadians competing in the famous Peking to Paris motor
Good
challenge.
girl.
The car rally is a grueling test of endurance to raise money for charity.
Very good.
Jay Durant explains.
Very good.
It's been years in the making, but the time has come for the ultimate road trip.
I'm John Kinahan. And I'm Daniel Kinahan. And we're driving halfway.
Okay, we ready for bed?
The father and son duo are the only Canadian team in the Peking to Paris rally.
Well, it is the longest and toughest classic car rally in the world.
A test of endurance spanning 9 countries.
The whole race is about 14,000 kilometers.
Sharing a lifelong bond over all things automotive, first they had to work up the nerve to take on this challenge.
I think we both thought it was kind of crazy when we first heard about it. Maybe a little too far-fetched for us to even.
Next, it was finding the right car to fix up. A 1962 Austin Cambridge.
Rocket.
It was a 4-seater plus room for the dog, but it was the first car I owned.
And then find a charity to support. They're hoping to raise $1 million for the Canadian Men's Health Foundation.
We deal with issues that men face about healthy eating, about when to talk to people about mental health conditions and mental health challenges.
Both Tom and Daniel have a lot of experience under the hood, but these tough conditions present all types of difficulties.
If we blow a wheel bearing, that's going to be tough. Somehow our engine block cracks.
Okay.
Who knows where we're going to find one, right?